All right, and then we're going to kind of go through the buyer offer worksheet. And once we do this, we're going to show a quick, so of course the client always says, what do you think we should offer for the home? And that's always the favorite question, like, okay, let's see what we can offer for the home. So to do that, it's good to go through, and you want to do I'm going to do a quick CMA real quick with everybody, just so you can follow through and see the traditional way how to do it. And then I'm going to show you a shortcut method. And this is what I bring with me when I do my showings. It's a 1-page CMA that takes like 20 seconds to do. So we'll show you how to do that after the traditional way that most people want you to do it. Okay, let me just grab my MLS here, and I'll put it right here. So these are one of the things you guys get is you get the steps for the CMA. I'm just logging in right now. And then of course you'd find your subject property. And then I'm just going to grab one of these homes that has a price change, because those are usually easy subject property. I knew I should have had one set already, but that's okay. I'll just grab one.
Now, is what you're about to show us,
This is a perfect
does
one.
every agent have access to it, or is it
Yes,
only
every
EXP?
agent will have access to their MLS. Like
Got
in
it.
Har, it's a little bit different in Houston. Each MLS
Everything's a little different in Houston.
I know. So each thing is Houston is a little different, but you're going to be looking for that. So the main
Got
thing
it.
to remember when you do a CMA or a comparable market analysis, or an ARV, if you're working with investors, they call it after resale value. It's the same, or after repair value, the same thing as a CMA. When you do it, you're not doing a CMA on this property. I'm doing a CMA on this subdivision. So
Oh,
it's
interesting.
very important to remember that, because the person who can kill the deal is your appraiser. Because you can go under contract for 266 right now for this 4-bedroom, 2-bath and be like, I got it. This home is easily worth it. But if you don't do your CMA right for that subdivision to see what the home is going for, the appraiser is going to come in and say, you're only worth 250. And then the deal's over and you have to figure out what comes up with the extra 16,000. Okay. So you're always looking for the subdivision. So you need to know the subdivision, you need to know the square feet, and you need to know the beds and bath. That's all you need to know of the home.
I can already tell you this is a crappy house.
Yeah.
Look at the owner.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
that was an
wow.
inside joke.
Oh, okay. You know John Mitchell, Jason Mitchell. Yeah, awesome.
No, open door.
Oh, that's open door.
That's
Oh,
what
it
it
is
says,
right
owner.
Oh, just saw that. Good times. Yeah, open door. Oh, I didn't even notice the owner. Oh, that's fun too. All right. So then this is good times even better. So again, if you have the subdivision, you have the bath and bed, and you have the square feet. So we have all that, the subdivision, bath and bed, square feet. So again, if you look at the steps, it says find the property we just did, find the subdivision, and that'll be in the MLS. And then for our shortcuts, I hit Control K and it opens up another window. Every MLS will have a shortcut to open another window, because you're going to be working in 2 windows.
Got it.
Okay. And then once you open the other window, you're going to check and make sure that you're in. I always use classic because it's just so much easier. For our MLS in the area here in Texas, they have 2, classic and modern. Moderns for your phone to make it virtual for that way, and then classics for your computer. That's why they have 2. So I'm going to classic single residential to make sure I'm on the right tab. And then, the next step there, it says, okay, at the status bar at the top, which is this bar right here, I'm going to do a drop down. I'm going to highlight everything and then unhighlight it and then hit sold. Because I only want properties that are sold. You don't want properties that are pending. If you go to pending, some agents try to grab pending. If you do pending, you're not going to get a good property, and the appraiser will not count pending properties if they can help it. They only want sold properties in the last 9 months. We'll talk about that in a minute if we can find that. Okay. And then of course we want subdivision. So this subdivision is Knoll Ridge. So I'm going to copy that if I know which subdivision.
Oh, that's in a Converse.
Yep.
Right.
This is a great Converse one. That's why I was excited about it. So always try to find the common name. That's what most agents know. And then you have this little search button. You're going to hit the search to open it up, and you're going to drop it in there and then hit an arrow, and there it is. The reason I do it that way, because they might call Ridge RDG. And if you type in the word Knoll Ridge and it comes up, they'll say there's no homes there, even though I know there is. And then you can check right there. Now, the next thing, I know this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. So I want to see how many other 4-bedroom, 2-baths are in there. And then once I do that, I check the bedrooms, the baths, and then I'm going to go to the months back. So right here is months back. I'm going to start at 9 months. Hopefully I have enough. I can go back to 6, which is even better, or I can go out to 12 if I have to, if there's no comparables. But 9 is a good number to start just to see where I am. And then what I'm going to do at the bottom right, I'm going to add a field so I can put in fair square feet. So at the bottom right, it says add remove field, and I'm going to type in feet for square feet. And there it is right there. And then I'm just going to hit the over arrow and then OK, and then I'm in the square feet. Now, the way it works for the appraiser, you can only be 20% higher or lower than the square feet. So if you look at
20%.
20% is what it breaks down to. So if we look at our square feet here, we're at 1625 times 0.2, which is 20%. We're about 300 or so, 320. So we can go, down to about 1300 and up to almost about 1950, almost 2000.
1950.
Yeah, so we have about 1300 to about 1950. And then I know right off where I'm at. And then you can say, okay, I have that. I got my square feet. And then I want to see how many homes do I have? So I hit count. So there's 0 homes, it says in here. So that's kind of interesting. So if there's 0 homes, I need to change something. So I'm going to go here the first and change it and go to 3 bedrooms at first and see if they have any 3-bedroom homes in that neighborhood. Okay, now I have 1. It's probably a new neighborhood. I'm going to pull it up and just take a look at it real quick. So
Oh, it's
in
an
this
older neighborhood, actually.
It is an older neighborhood. They have that newer home in there. So this is kind of an interesting example. So this home was built in 2019, and this one is built in 1986. So this home's a little older. I'm
Mhm.
just gonna check. There no, see this one, they're calling
Yeah, no
No
ridge.
Yeah, it's no ridge. That's okay. So then if that happens, all you have to do is, it's a good example. I'm gonna kick back to 12 months and then hit OK and then count. I still only have that one. You don't really want to go too much more. For make it quick here, I'm going to go back 24 to see if we can find some other ones. But you don't want to really expand farther out. Now, if I
Yeah.
had a ton of ones, this is a 1-story. I'd want to try to find other ones. What are they asking? 266 other 1-stories. So right now I can already see, even if I go 2 years back in that subdivision, there's nothing close to what they're listing this home for at 266.
Ooh.
And they've been on the market 183 days. That's why. So 6 months already. This is too overpriced at home.
100%. Go open door, lose more money.
I'm about to say, hey, that's why they do it. They don't have agents that know what they're doing. Yep. So even if I pick the top 3 highest, which is what the next level says, go ahead, get your top 3. You need at least 2 for the appraiser, but they prefer 3 or 4. And then once I get my top 3, I'm going to hit this little graph looking thing at the top, and it's going to start the CMA for me. And then it actually just grabs it all. And then all I'm going to do is take this home and drop it in here. And then the contact, I made a client called VA Appraiser, and you just make up a client yourself, FHA VA Appraiser, so you know who it's for. And then I hit continue, and that's it. And then I just grab the MLS number so I can show my comparable in there. At the top under subject property, I drop it here, autofill it, here it is. And then all I can do is hit generate report. And there it is. This home is right about 230.
And they were asking what, 260?
266.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're about 30,000 over.
This is a really good example of what a quality agent should be able to guide. If they fell in love with that home, which I guarantee you, if it's an open door flip, there's not a home they fell in love with. I guess that's it's okay. Actually, it's not bad at all. I guess that's when they were doing a good job.
So it's not a bad flip if you look at it real quick.
Yeah,
but like you said, if it's a home and they're like, I love it.
But it's like, hey, it'll never appraise for 266. And it's been on the market for what, 160 days? And the data tells us it should probably be around 230. Hey, let's not fall in love with it. Let's go ahead and submit 230. Let's see what happens.
So a lot of agents, what they'll do at this point, they'll take this and they want to bring this whole report with them when they show the home. Because you want to know what the home's worth. Because when you show the homes, the client always says, this is my favorite. What do you think we should offer? And you don't want to be, I call them the cheesy agent that says, I don't know. Let me go home and figure it out. No, that's the wrong answer. They're ready. They're ready to write right now. So then you should have your computer with you ready to go. So what you do if you're on the home, I go here. We have a thing in our system. Most companies have this. Ours is called the courthouse retrieval. Other companies have it. It counters all of Bexar County and other counties in the area. and here's the home. All you do is go to comparables, quick CMA, and then you just check it. And then I have too many because there's 15. So I'm going to go to the same subdivision 9 months back and check it. Okay, I have 4. So this is saying through here because some homes have sold that have been cash purchases
By open door.
by open door. So I'm going to do exact matches here. And then I only have 3. So they're saying if you take into account, because remember, MLS doesn't always show the cash purchases that are off the MLS when someone buys or sells. So in the same subdivision, there's 3 other homes in the same everything, bed and bath, that sold. And based on the average price per square feet, those homes, that home could be worth 277 really.
Really? That's a
a
big
very-
difference, 230
it's a
to
big difference.
277.
Because the MLS did not have all the data. So they are maybe a little overpriced for that area, but they're not too overpriced. We're not too bad because they just showed us that. Whoop, I went the wrong way. Hope I didn't kill it. Here it is. They just showed us because they took into account homes that have been sold for cash in that area.
So
Maybe
this website, what is this website?
This is called the courthouse retrieval system.
Got it.
Yeah, other systems are, and most MLSs have something similar to this. And you put in
Got
an
it.
address and you can do a quick CMA and it pulls it from the tax data. Because remember, even if you buy a home with cash, you still have to register it with the county. So
Yeah.
this pulls from all of the county data for this home.
Wow, that's super interesting.
Yep.
I
so
would
it's
still
an
go with a
extra-
230 offer because I'm a
I would.
douchebag like that.
And I would even say I continue my
Fine,
CMA.
235.
Yep. So this would let you know you have leeway though. So the reason
Yeah.
we do this, so this is good. This home could probably go for 270, right? Or
Yeah.
be appraised at 270. That's the thing we want to think. What could we get it appraised at? So because on the slideshow, when we do, we have to know the traditional method, and then our KV core, we can plug it in, get an instant value. And then you want to see what they're interested. So if you go from there, now we have the CMA, you go to what's called the buyer offer worksheet here. So on this worksheet, oh, I want to put the address in. So I'll just leave it at 123 Main Street. So they want 266. So right now, when I go to the worksheet, they're asking 266. So I put that in there. The first CMA gave me, let's say 235. The second one gave me 275 or 277. And
277.
it automatically calculates between those two that you could probably get it appraised at 256 to 260 without too much trouble. So right
Very
now,
nice.
we know they're asking 266, right? So we got to think when you start, this is where we start to think about negotiation. So 266, we got to look at what our client. So if I have an FHA, say I have an FHA buyer, which most first-time home buyers are FHA, and that's Converse, a lot of first-time home buyers. That's a 3.5% down. So if we wanted to offer 266, then we could do, 266. Oh, did I do it right? Times 0.035. We need 93.10 for the down payment. We're just going to drop that right here. And then the earnest money, we're probably going to want about $2,000. $100 for option. We're going to talk about those things in a minute. And it automatically gives you 3% for which should be your closing costs. So without me getting the seller to pay any seller concessions or to get a grant, my client needs to bring to closing almost $17,000.
Very nice.
So this is a very simple. So at this point, you tell your client, okay, do you have $17,000?
As a
And if they're like-
minimum.
Yeah, and if they're like minimum, yeah, you never know because they still have to pay the appraisal, they still have to pay the inspection. So they're gonna need that. And that's after putting this 2,000 down and the 100 down. Because this
Do
minuses-
FHA still requires like 1 or 2 months in reserves for cash?
It depends
you
how
know?
good the credit score is.
Okay.
Yep, usually they don't, but it just depends.
Got it.
Okay. Now, so when I ask my client, I'm like, what do you have for closing? They might say, we have 5,000. That's it. And I'm like, okay, now we have an issue here. So instead of just saying, no, you're done, son, and bye, Felicia, I can go over here and get them I can tell them, all right, so when I do my offer, we're looking at 266, right? And we'll probably get it appraised for that. I could tell Open Door, we're going to give you 266, but we need 5,000 in seller concessions. And then they're like, oh, okay, we could do a full price offer for that. And I would probably offer less with that as well and see what their counter would be. And then when it comes back, I could also get them a grant. A grant can be up to 4%. So I could get them, say they need, they only have 5,000. I could
Where
get
do
them
these
that.
grants come from?
They come from the government. Their lender will have, if you have a good lender, they have like 70 or 80 grants out there. Most people use one from the government called a T-Shack or a SEP. Those are the two big ones. And the lender, once they're pre-approved, the lender will check. So now if I have my seller concessions and I have my grant money and I see my client here, they only need $3,000 now. And I know they have 5,000. We're good. We just created a deal with them and made it work. So this is where this is really important. I want everyone who's watching the video to take away. This is one of the most important things that you're probably going to walk away with, is knowing how to walk through this. Because at this point, if you use a grant, of course, you're not at a 6% rate. You're at a 7% rate now because it's the government grant. They have to make their money back. So then you tell your clients, what is more important to you? Are you more important to making more money, you're lowering payments, like dropping the price down? Or are you more worried about saving your interest rate and dropping the rate down? It sometimes balances about the same, but when you use grants, the rates sometimes go up. So if they're like, you know what, we want to keep our rate low, I'm going to say, okay, we got to get rid of your grant. But to do that, I want to buy the rate down now. So now instead of 5,000, I'm going to ask for 15,000 in seller concessions. And then I'm going to use the rest, because I only need 7,600 for closing costs. The rest, I have another almost 7,000 I can use to buy the rate down. So now I can go from a 6 maybe to a 5.5. Then it'll be a fixed rate that way. And if I use an ARM, I can even go lower, and then I can fix it after 6 months with a lower rate. So you can look, yeah, you can look at some very interesting different ways. So as I know I'm talking a little bit higher level here for some new.
No,
agents.
this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want you guys to understand, that's why we have this form, okay? So if I call my agent, I'm going to say, okay, right now we're at a 6 and I want to get him to a 5.5. What is that going to take me? What is that going to cost? And he'll tell me, hey, we can do that, and you need $10,000. Okay, boom. I need to get their closing costs covered, but they have 3,000 more. Okay, so I only need 4,000, and then I need another 10, so I really only need 13,000 seller concessions. So I'm going to come at the beginning, offer a full price offer at 266, but I'm going to tell them I need full seller concessions because we're buying the rate down. And the seller pays for the rate buy down, not the buyer. Okay, and that's how you get it without having to fight it. Now, this is if you have a different type of loan. I'll run through one more scenario. If you have, say, a VA loan or USDA, both of those are 0% down. And the crazy thing is Converse, which is in the middle of San Antonio, is all USDA. It qualifies all of Converse for some reason.
Oh man, that's a golden nugget right there.
It's the golden nugget. It's the craziest thing. No money down.
God, yeah.
It's
Quite as
insane.
Converse, because originally they were farmland. I mean, I know they were.
Yep. I don't know why they haven't updated, because it's in.
I was gonna say someone has not done their updating.
I love it though. I sell lots of homes there for that reason. So if you have a client that either, let's say USDA, not only VA, because here we have a lot of veterans in San Antonio. That's where we're using that. But this is a more common loan, USDA. So now you have 0 money down. Boom.
Yep.
You keep the same earnest, the same option. You have the same closing. But look, I'm negative 7,000 now. I don't need negative 7,000. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm only going to ask for 7,000 in seller concessions. And now I have
and the buyer has to come up with $680. Where are they going to come up from?
Yeah, I know exactly. And that's all they have to worry about out of this. Now remember, we don't even have a grant. You can double dip and get a grant with a VA or a USDA loan if you need to. But you probably don't need to. So at this point, now that I have more flex, right? I know that they have 4,000. I'm only going to ask for 3,500 in seller concessions because my client wants a lower payment. And instead, I'm going to offer 245 with, and I'm going to do 245 with 6,000 in seller concessions. And then they're going to come back to me. You're going to think, what's the other side going to reply back? How are they going to take your offer? And what are they going to do to reply? Because my goal is 245 with at least 3. or a 250 with 3. So if I come back at 245, they might say, no, we're at 260. And we're willing to give you 2,500 in seller concessions. And my client's like, I can come up with an extra $180. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And they still save 7,000 almost, and they still don't have to worry about anything.
Oh man,
Yeah.
this is gold.
I know. So I'm saying, agents, this is really.
You're making me
really-
want to get my license. This is very
So
nice.
I built this myself to help my new agents, because this, you guys have to understand when you walk through. That's why we went over the CMA real quick. You want to take more time doing the CMA and practicing what we showed you and follow the steps, and then do that quick one. Now, if you have a CRM, that's a good one, like KV Core. All I do is go to marketing, and then right here it has a CMA builder. I put in the address, I put in my name, and it gives me a CMA. It takes 2 minutes, and that's it. And then it's a 1-page CMA I can take with me. So that's important. So just think about this when we start. We're going to keep moving on soon, but think about this. I wanted to really take some time to walk through this and explain it to you guys, because this is really, really important for agents, for you to understand what's going on. This will make or break you as an agent. If you can do this negotiation and figure it out, you are going to just rock it. You're going to kill everybody, because nobody else understands as you're getting into it. It's going to save you amazing. All right. So go ahead. You have a copy of this as one of the extra stuff you pay for. Have fun and make sure you have a good time with it, and knock it out of the park. Have fun and rock this
Awesome.
through. We're going to keep
Awesome.
walking through.
Awesome.